as the 5-second board spins around here in France for Moto 1 to commence. The gate drops. Here to go, Jobé up the inside, and well, indeed, we've got a pile of men and machines. Could well have been Johan Boonen amongst that group, and another pile of machines on the first corner. Well, there indeed was a very brave cameraman. That looks like number 111 that went down. That would have been Jürgen Nielsen, but Jobé it is that has gone into the lead. Circuit conditions very tacky from the overnight rain. Nickel holding on to second position at the moment, and that's David Thorpe in third. That's Watley. There is Lyles having to contend with the, as I say, slightly slippery conditions. The rest of the riders come through. Going to pick out who they are. The old plates on the bikes looking just a little bit mucky. But those riders that went down off the start gate and then into that first corner, back on their bikes and beginning to sort themselves out. Number 69, that was the Brit, young Higgsy, Jason Higgs. As they come around 111, there was one of those riders, Nielsen it was, that went down, and Boonen was amongst that group that went down. But we're back at the front. The Belgian, 4 times the world champion, Georges Jobé, looking for his 5th crown. Down the hill, and now has established himself quite a useful lead from this man. Second place, it's number 9, the British rider, Kurt Nickel. Looking back behind Nickel at the moment. It's Thorpe. This is the Thorpe that really everybody was used to seeing. 3 times the world champion, Billy Lyles there, trying so hard to take this championship away from this man. Number 1, Jobé. 318 points he comes into this first moto. Nickel in second with the 300 points. Well, if they stay as they are, they will indeed stay as they are in the overall positions in the championship after this first leg. There is Lyles back there in 4th at the moment. He's got Jeremy Watley behind him. The second, the Action Workshop men. Very, very nearly. That was it for Lyles. A little bit too much power on the back of the bike. It nearly threw him off. But it's Jobé, Mr. Consistent, Mr. Ever Professional he is, riding the Sinti Honda with the Eric Gabor's HRC factory motors under the fuel tank. And a lead indeed he has, because the Austrian KTM man here, number 9, Kurt Nickel, looks now to have lost touch with the leader. Looking back for third. We have a battle on for third and fourth. It's Thorpe on the other Sinti Honda from Lyles. Lyles has got up there now and is going after Thorpe's position. It'll be 15 points if Lyles can get in front of Thorpe. Well, Lyles has made a mistake, because here's Jeremy Watley, the other Action Workshop rider, is now challenging the Sinti Honda rider David Thorpe. And there's Lyles coming back after those two, so Billy won't be happy with that, but I'm sure he'll be back in that position before much longer. At the front, under no threat whatsoever, there he is, Georges Jobé, number 1. Gorgeous George, as he's now known. Nickel, number 9, still holds on to second place, and comfortably as well, because we're looking back now for 3rd, 4th and 5th, and it's still Thorpe there in 3rd. That looks like Lyles that's in 4th now. Yes indeed, Billy Lyles has got up to 4th. Watley has gone down to 5th, so the 2 Johnson's Action Workshop men together. One on the full-blown factory HRC bike, the other one on the slightly more production machine, but it doesn't seem to make an awful lot of difference to Watley. He can stay with the factory bike. Down the hill they come. Thorpe has now lost that 3rd position to Lyles, and now comes under threat from Watley. And look at that, a little bit of shoulder charging. He's only about 5'10" is Jeremy Watley, and David Thorpe is well over 6 foot, and a pretty big lad as well. It's a big man's class, this 500 class. Generally, most of the riders all 6 foot or more. But young Jeremy Watley, the 1991 British Open class champion, challenging a former British Open class champion at the moment, and a former world champion, David Thorpe. Ooh, the back end of that bike kicked around there for Watley. He's going after Thorpe's Sinti Honda. Thorpe, this is very much a production bike that Thorpe's on. Really the first time ever that Thorpe has ever ridden really what one would describe as a production machine. 2 laps to go. The board spins around for 1 lap to go. And here's Gorgeous George looking to pick up 20 points and that will no doubt make him extremely happy. Nickel looking at 17 points at the moment in second place. As third and fourth come through, I think we've lost Thorpe, you know. I think Thorpe has gone missing because it's Lyles and Watley. 26, that's young Brian Wheeler, the Watton Underedge rider from England. He's having a much better day, but it's George Jobay then that takes the checkered flag and Heat 1 win. Nickel then chases home in second position. As I say, picks up those 17 points. And they'll no doubt be happy with those 17 points. Third place then, it was Billy Lyles. And back behind Lyles, it was indeed Jeremy Watley. Well, looking back, there's Thorpe. Well, he finished in fifth. David Thorpe beginning to show some of his own form that we're so used to seeing over the past years. But there goes Jeremy Watley back to the park. Ferme and George Jobay. Jobay takes, prepares himself. Relaxed, very relaxed is George. Here's Lyles, third in that first outing. Needs really to start winning if he stands any chance of hoisting himself up into the lead of this World Championship. So the pressure is now on Lyles as number 14 slots in beside him. Ronnie Oosterrad. You'll remember Ronnie from 2 years back. Really shook everybody up at the start of this season. Nickel there slots in beside those two, as well as Thorpe and Jeremy Watley. 32nd, well, that's a very novel way of starting the race. The first time I've ever seen it done like that. Well, the French always think of it first, if not the Americans. 5-second board spins around, the gate will drop. That's Franco Rossi beside George Jobay, number 93, as they got the start straight for the second time today. Let's have a look, see who it is. It looks very much like Rossi, indeed it is. Franco Rossi, it's Lyles in second, and it's Watley, Jobay, Nickel, Thorpe with some track tape, Anstey was in there as well. Another one of the British riders, there's Dirk Gherkins. They come, that's Oosterrad, number 14 gone through. Boonham was amongst that group. And there is young Warren Edwards, 55. We picked them up, but it's Franco Rossi at the moment from Lyles. Lyles has to start winning. Has to start picking up 20-point maximums from now on if he's to catch that man, number 1, George Jobay. Thorpe looking more of his former self. And the interesting thing about this French track is that the commentator is rushing from one side of the track to the other with a radio microphone. That's something you don't often see. Often see a very fit lad. Well, we've got a problem here for 69, the British riders. That's Jason Higgs. Well, he retires back to the paddock. Some sort of problem there. But the leader, once again, Franco Rossi from number 5 in second place, Billy Lyles. Then it's Jeremy Watley. Then it's Kurt Nickel. Nickel has to start winning. He's not going to get that championship if he doesn't win. Watley coming through yet again. Looking back for the leader. It looks now as Lyles has taken the lead. Rossi obviously making a mistake somewhere. There's Nickel. Oh, we really are. And there's Jobay behind Nickel. Now Nickel needs to finish in front of Jobay. He's got Watley in front of him, so you've got the two British riders. You've got an American, two Brits and a Belgium there. And one of those Belgians being the championship leader. There's Watley, and there is Jobay going after Nickel. Nickel desperately needs to keep him behind him. So here's the man at the moment that's looking at 20 points. Billy Lyles, second place, it's Jeremy Watley. And there now is Jobay, back still behind Nickel. Now can Nickel keep him there? Over the big jumps they go. Track conditions certainly excellent in this second moto. Lyles it is at the front and very happy with himself after those 3 wins in England. Got a third, and this could be a win. We shouldn't speak too soon. Commentators curse on a rider. You're probably wondering there in your armchairs where that nice 4-stroke Husqvarna of Jackie Martin's is. Well, I can tell you that he's not in the racing today. He broke his hand on the last lap of qualification yesterday. which was a crying shame. Here comes Rossi, early race leader. Now back in 5th position. David Thorpe, number 7. He's dropped back a fair bit. Obviously that back injury beginning to play some sort of part in his race condition. Schmetz there and Boonen together. Number 17, number 11 to the sound of the horns. Here comes the American. It's young Billy Lyles. Well, not so young as he probably is now. Well, he's younger than I am. So Jobé has got up in front of Nicol. That's disaster from the Englishman. He needed to finish ahead of Jobé, but Jobé now going after 2nd place. Jeremy Watley occupies that position at the moment, and Jobé, the wily old warhorse of motocross, he's been around a few years, a 250 champion, a 500 champion. The only class that Jobé has never won was the 125, and he did have a go at it a couple of years ago. Here's the leader. It's Lyles, and Jobé now up into 2nd place. Watley 3rd, and it's Nicol that's 4th. So Nicol now needs to get past Watley. Jobé will obviously be looking for the lead if he can catch Lyles. Here is the leader. Looking very happy at the moment at the front, and that's where he stayed until the checkered flag. So it's Billy Lyles picked up the maximum. Jobé held on to 2nd position. Kurt Nicol held on to 3rd. So there you are, the top 3 with our very energetic French commentator. George Jobé, as he says, receives another one of those rather unusual looking plaques. And under starters orders, the 5-second board spins around. That gate will drop any time after that 5-second period is up, and it does, and here they go. And that looks like Jobé on the inside that's gone for the lead. Someone's gone down. Well, we've got a whole heap of men and machines. Oh, well, Johan Boonen, number 11, is amongst that group. Can't see the others, but it is Jobé that's in the lead. Franco Rossi then 2nd. Lyles is 3rd. Lyles will want to go back after Jobé. That's Mervyn Anstey, the British rider, in 4th. There's Nicol as the rest come charging through. Gherkin, Schmetz was there. There he is. There's Gherkin's just gone through. Ronnie Oosterraad, number 14. David Thorpe, number 7. Mortensen, number 15. There's Jason Higgs, the British rider. He's going well. He dropped it on the first corner. He really is on the gas. Oh, we're back in the front once again with race leader, the Belgian George Jobé. 93 it is. Franco Rossi, the Italian, in 2nd. The American Billy Lyles 3rd. Back down the pecking order a little. That's Warren Edwards, the 3rd of the Action Workshop boys, and Jürgen Nielsen, the Swede, going through. Oh, look at them hoisting these bikes up. Someone there very nearly made a mistake. David Thorpe, number 7. Mix and mash of men all over the track, and the leader here, Jobé it is, gets the board. Rossi in 2nd place, 93. Lyles gets a scream on from his wife, Rebecca. Nicol gets a cheer on from someone. That will probably be his brother Aaron. There's Watley, and there's Anstey. Well, that's a good ride from young Mervyn. There's Edwards. So Edwards is not going so bad. In the top 10 at the moment. That looked like Schmetz behind him. But here's the leader once again. 20 points forecast on the horizon at the end of this race from the defending champion, Jobé. Lyles is still there. He needs to catch Jobé, and look at this, Nicol is out. There's a problem with the bike. I think that may be an ignition problem of some kind. It's just stopped, and that a very dejected British rider, Kurt Nicol. Any chances now of catching this man, George Jobé, in the championship are really starting to disappear into the horizon, as Jobé seems to be doing at the moment from Rossi and this man, Billy Lyles. Well, the question now is, can Lyles get after Jobé? Rossi between them. Italian having a much better outing here in France. Looking back now, and there is Watley. Well, there's Mr. Consistent. He really is starting to come on as the season goes on. Oh, Jeremy Watley from Ringwood, just outside London in England. George Jobé, the Belgian, still leading. And there's Rossi. Seems to be nothing Rossi can do at the moment about catching the leader, but here's Lyles. He's beginning to close on Rossi, so we may... well, look at that, eh? There's the Belgian flag. Or at least I think it's the Belgian flag. Watley, number 12. Well, As I said, he's beginning to put his pace together. Results are beginning to come together as the season goes on. Anstey, second of the British riders. We've lost Nickel, remember. There's Schmetz, number 17. Winds the bike on as they come down the hill. Here's Ronnie Ustenrad, number 14, on the Kawasaki. I haven't seen a lot from Ronnie this year. Number 71, that's Rudy van Leuven. There's Dirk Gherkins, number 3. Dirk not having one of his most consistent seasons. But here's the man that consistency is his second name, Georges Jobé. Looking at the moment at a potential 20 points. Back in second place, 93, Franco Rossi, still third for Lyles. Seems not to be able to do anything about that KTM that's in front of him. And look, we've got a change at the front. This is Rossi. Rossi has got the lead. Jobé has made a mistake somewhere, but Rossi going now after the 20 points. There is Jobé. He has got Lyles parked right behind him, so Lyles can see a chance. And I think that may well be that Lyles might be looking for the win. Yeah. And someone on the ground there. I can't see who it is. It's Gherkins, number 3. That's the bike that's down. Dirk Gherkins on the floor. He's collided with somebody else. I can't see who the rider is that's steering the riders away from him. But 1 lap to go at the moment. It's Rossi that leads. Here he is, 93 on the bike. This will make this man very, very happy. Looking back for second, it was number 1, Georges Jobé. But it's Rossi that takes the checkered flag. Jobé taking second. We're looking back for third then. Where indeed is Billy Lyles? And there he is, third place and only 15 points. Well, Lyles won't be happy for that. Young Jeremy Watley finishing 4th with the 13 points. Top finishing Brit in this race. Mervyn Anstey right behind him in 5th position.